estáis? Bienvenidos y bienvenidas a un nuevo vídeo del canal. Seguimos con un directazo aquí de Honkai Star Rail. Y bueno, gente, ¿qué queréis que os diga? Ha llegado el momento de continuar nuestra aventura. Hemos estado, ya que habíamos regresado a Belobog en nuestras aventuritas, para un poquito ver a Serval, ver a Gepard, ver a Lynx y demás, y ayudar un poquito a reconstruir esto, que aunque lo hayamos salvado, lo que digo, aún quedan cositas por hacer. Y aún tenemos conversaciones pendientes con viejos amigos que hemos ido conociendo en nuestro viaje estelar por aquí. Pero bueno, como ya sabéis, es el momento de continuar nuestra aventura, y qué mejor en este caso, ¿no?, que con la misión, en este caso, de Trazacaminos. Volvemos, en este caso, a Colonipenal con un solo objetivo en este momento, que es regresar a ver qué pasaba con lo que nos dijo Aventurino. Como ya sabéis, presenciamos la realidad que nos mencionó este, y una realidad que podía hacer que Colonipenal se hundiera. ¿Qué clase de espectáculo se representará a continuación? Han pasado muchas cosas, así que vamos a venir por aquí y vamos a seguir esta misión. Esto nos va a llevar de nuevo a nuestra habitacioncita en el Hotel Fantasía, así que volvemos. Y después de todo lo que pasó, después de habernos tomado un pequeño break, ¿no?, disfrutando un poquito de este gran lugar, ha llegado el momento de sumergirnos de nuevo en... Aquí está Aventurino, vaya. Pues lo que digo, regresamos a la habitación, tenemos muchas cosas que hacer y este personaje obviamente tiene mucho que decirnos. Así que vamos a hablar con él. Aventurino! ¿Qué pasa? ¡Ay, mi amigo!
My expression wasn't much better than yours when I first saw this. Your eyes aren't deceiving you. It's her. The famous singer, Robin.
Pero... ¿cómo es posible? Ha muerto.
Well, first of all, can I just say that this had nothing to do
Vale, dice él que es un testigo con mala suerte. Bueno, ya sabéis que murió y no, lo subimos, pero lo vimos nosotros, el espectador. Obviamente el Trazacaminos no ha visto lo que ha pasado, y ahora es cuando se viene la historia, ¿no? Vale.
This is not where the crime happened. What I showed you was a memory. The most basic light cone manifesting tech. Authorized by the Garden of Recollection and owned by the IPC. Did you really think the Galaxy Rangers were outsiders this whole time? Penacony has made a solemn commitment to protect the safety of anyone inside a family dream. Any person in distress will be forcibly awakened and safely returned to reality. What gives them the confidence to make such conclusive statements? Because behind this promise is the harmony.
Vaya.
The family's Dreamweavers link up their minds together.
Muchísimas gracias a los que estáis entrando, de verdad. Bienvenidos.
Breaking through this line of defense to create death in the dreamscape. Not even a memo keeper could do that without the family's permission. Who could have done it, friend? The only one is her. The girl who calls herself a Galaxy Ranger. An imposter. An unsought guest. An emanator who hides her true identity.
Bueno, nos está poniendo contra Acherón, Aventurino.
Ifrit's death was a foregone conclusion. And Robin? Her misfortune was staring right at her. Who will be the next to die?
Esto es difícil de asimilar, Aventurino.
It's fine. Listen to your gut. Building trust always takes time. And I'm willing to wait. I just hope you realize that wherever that legacy is concerned, covert plans are already underway throughout Penacony. Everyone's got their own agenda.
Vaya.
Careful you don't get stuck on the wrong side. If I were you...
Sí, básicamente nos está diciendo que tened cuidado con Acherón, amigos, pero si algo me caracteriza en mi aventura por Honkai Star Rail es que peligro es mi segundo nombre, y ya lo sabéis. Pero bueno, vamos a ver qué pasa, ¿no? Vaya, cisne negro.
Memo Keeper, I think our little deal is finished.
Vale.
Aventurine is telling the truth. This memory is a real one. And there's no sign of any distortion grafting on.
Okay.
The IPC is not the Garden, and there are real limits to what they can actually do. Friend, let's not beat around the bush here. The thing is, I want to reach out personally to team up with the Astral Express. I told you I'm just
Vale, o sea,
not
quiere hablar
interested
con el
in
Astral,
scrambling
pero
for the
va a su
legacy.
bola, ¿no?
I just came to Penacony for work.
La propiedad.
I'm here to retrieve some lost property for the IPC, if you catch my drift. This has all become a bad debt thanks to the cancer of all worlds.
Es que es lo que os digo, me raya
The
igual
IPC
porque, a ver,
has
esto
tried
es un
sitting
complejo de
down for
vacaciones, pero a la vez
negotiations
es una
time and
prisión,
again,
o sea,
but the family wouldn't
claro,
even take
es
our
complicado.
calls. You have no idea how difficult these people are to deal with. Put it this way. They've hushed up the
Pero y
existence
Libélula,
of
que es lo que me
death
preocupa.
before, so they can definitely cover up any news about Robin's death. It'll just quietly float off like a bubble and pop. Nobody... That's not fair, right?
¿Qué clase de ayuda?
I have but only one goal. The family's front door is like a high wall, and to tear the whole thing down, I'll have to dig out a few chunks first. Once I find a weak point, the IPC will have plenty of means. Now we have our chance. So long as we can get to the truth behind her death, we can
Vale,
have
nos
justice
pide que
for
desvelemos la
Robin,
verdad detrás de la muerte, ¿no?
while also
de
gaining a
Robin.
valuable bargaining chip for bringing the family to the table.
¿Vale?
Truly a once in a blue
Dice que es una
moon
oportunidad única y
opportunity.
que ha estado investigando y haciendo muchos amigos por
I've been
Colonipenal para llegar
investigating
a
and
este
making
momento.
lots of friends all over Penacony precisely for this very moment. This tragic news would be extremely bad for the family, so they'll be doing everything they can to stop it leaking. But I trust that there are still a few factions that remain exceptions, and that's why I need you all. The reputation of the Astral Express precedes you, and the Harmony will give you the fairest of appraisals. You get to find out really what happened and seek justice, and I get to put it toward completing my mission for the IPC. It's what you call a win-win situation.
¿Quieres que nos aprovechemos de la confianza de la familia?
Don't worry, just head back and talk things over with your companions. That navigator is really smart. She must understand the value of this deal. Look, here's my contact details. If you come to any conclusions, call me. Oh, and take this. A thorough investigation can always use a little more funding. Don't mention it. So long, friend. I really am looking forward to uncovering the truth about death with everyone.
Aventurine just sauntered off. He really doesn't mean to force it, but something still seems off.
What now? What are your plans?
Black Swan. What is she thinking?
No lo sé. El diablo de terciopelo, ¿vamos a hablar con ella?
On the surface, this doesn't look like a bad deal for you. But Aventurine is a shrewd merchant whose scheme won't just be as simple as it appears to be. He doesn't know about Miss Firefly yet, but judging by your reaction, he may have noticed something going on and deliberately shifted topics to the truth of death to try and pull you in line with his way of thinking. That's quick thinking and very sound logic. Aventurine is no fool, and working with him definitely has its dangers.
Vale, los amigos no pueden ignorar el mal.
But you're talking about real evil. Anyway, be careful out there. There's more than one way to blaze a trail. In a dark forest beset by wolves,
Guay,
ensuring
tengo que
your
agradecerlo a
escape
este
to
directo, le estoy dando
safety should
mucho
be your
apoyo, gente. Más de
primary
350
concern.
personas. Brutal,
As for
sois los
the other
mejores.
questions,
¿La muerte asesinó a Robin?
I'm not sure the two cases were committed by the same culprit, but that massive wound looked like its winged blade. Plus, it seems unlikely that there would be two lethal entities loose in the dreamscape.
Eso es verdad. Ay, vamos a preguntarle, ¿crees que está relacionado con el chelón?
Sorry, I can't answer that question. That ranger is shrouded in mystery. But without a doubt, she is the most special guest at this banquet. It's like a...
¿Has notado algo inusual?
Two victims appearing one after the other in a very short time span. Two possibilities. The collapse of Penacony's dreamscape has started speeding up, making death extremely agitated and weakening the family's protections.
Es que es lo que estáis comentando por el chat. Realmente esto te pone en duda, no sabes qué va a pasar a continuación. Creo que esta trama es de las que más me han atrapado en Honkai. Y mira que Honkai me flipa, me encanta. Me ha gustado lo de Belobog, me ha gustado lo del Xiaofu de Lufu, me ha gustado todo lo que hemos visto en las estaciones espaciales. Pero esto es que atrapa todavía más. Es lo que os digo, mundo onírico, todo lo que hemos visto, la parte de libélula, es casi cinemático, la aparición de Sam. What the fuck, bros. O sea, fue brutal. En serio, me encantó. Claro, claro. Vamos a intentar averiguarlo, obviamente. Cisne Negro nos guía al caótico, en el caótico paisaje onírico, y entiendo que aquí se viene lo bueno, ¿no? Vale, estamos fuera de la zona segura. Estamos aquí de vuelta. Vale. Aquí están los pollitos. Pío, pío. Madre mía. Quiere que salgamos del hotel, ojo, Vale. ¿Cómo? ¿Por dónde? ¿Por aquí? ¿Vale?
This is where we part ways. All of this is like a nightmare. Unfortunately, the remembrance doesn't lie. What we just saw is the reality that happened. But follow your heart.
Vale, dice que sigamos a nuestro corazón. Vaya consejo,
We all walk through this world casting shadows of different lengths. Hold on just a sec.
Vale, dice que nos deja una sensación de frío y nos da una carta.
There you go.
Pequeño regalo de despedida,
If one day you unfortunately fall into the deep waters of the memory zone and there's no memo keeper to join you, hopefully it can guide you on my behalf.
Vale, o sea, no tenemos nada seguro. Esto es, nos vamos a jugar la vida. Pinta complicado lo que vamos a hacer,
Just think of this as an apology from me for hiding.
Gracias.
Then I've something private to take care of regarding that Galaxy Ranger. Let's leave things there. What fascinating memories will you bring for me next time we meet? I sincerely look forward to them.
Vale. Pues vamos a ver, gente, pero lo que os digo, está la cosa importante. Josh, ¿todavía estás en el Hotel Paisaje Único? Josh, ¿tienes algún problema? Nos separamos de la zona de los recuerdos, pues Josh está con la guardamemoria. Estoy nervioso, ayuda. Marzo, tranquila. ¿Qué está pasando? Ya terminé. Vale. Vale, pues parece que...
Family rep. Is Himiko okay?
Vale, parece que esto continúa, ¿no? Estamos de vuelta aquí en nuestro momento dorado. Y algo me dice que ahora, obviamente, está clarinete lo que hay que hacer. Básicamente, vamos a bajar hacia abajo, vamos a buscar a nuestra estatua de relojito favorita. Y vamos a ver qué es lo que está pasando. Ya os digo, muchas cosas y muchos peligros obviamente están aquí a la vuelta, acechando en cada esquina. Y hay que tener mucho cuidado de lo que pueda pasar. Vamos a ver, aquí hay un espiáfono. Vale. Bueno, aquí está el relojito, vamos a reunirnos con los panas. Han pasado tantas cosas. Debería tomar un momento para ordenar mis pensamientos y esperar a que lleguen todos. Por fin nos reunimos con los miembros de Express Astral después de las aventuras. Lo que digo, volvimos a Belobog, tuvimos ahí un poquito de cosas, pero parece que vamos a retrasarnos a hace un tiempo en la zona de los recuerdos. Ahí está. Es el combate que se nos quedó entre Achelón y Sam. Hace varios días, Mansión de Fuego Eterno. Gran Duque del Infierno.
We're still alive, as are you. We still have room to make a choice. Leave the music box behind, and then go.
Espera. ¿Esto está pasando lo que yo pienso?
Choice. The bloody trail of the destruction leaves no room for it.
The Taurus fire demon. Even if you sacrifice your life for that eon, you won't get special treatment.
Ranger, you tread the narrow path of the hunt. You could never understand. We come from the fire and are born bathed in fire. We spread, burn, and destroy until all the kindling is burned out and we leave only ashes on the ground. Burning forms the entire life of a fire demon, from the beginning to the end. We are born to die just to put into practice a profile of another universal truth. All things are created for the destruction.
Your companions don't seem to think so.
They are my children, and just as I was, they are flames that have yet to burn white hot. They're still young, and I don't blame them. But my flames are faint, and time is running out. Can you see the planet of festivities in the distance? I plan to bring purgatory with me there, and before that, I must surpass you.
Why?
Because on the path they have forged, you have traveled farther than I have. Emanator. You cannot hide your true identity. Draw that sword, for we shall indeed remain here. Destruction.
Madre mía, esto está interesantísimo, estoy flipando, Es lo que os digo, no hace falta más, una escena que te deja loco.
To cravenly cling to life is to endure an endlessly prolonged existence.
Even if the answer turns out to be your own destruction.
What is important is not the answer, but that it exists, just as you exist. Everything exists to be destroyed. Emanators are no different.
Vale.
Just as even sweet dreams
Probablemente son las escenas, lo que digo, de imagen más bestia en lo que están comentando. Porque es lo que digo, está interesante.
All right. I accept.
You shall witness the most brilliant and intense fire in existence.
A bottomless stream. Yes, that's right. But you've made one small
Ojo,
mistake.
pequeño error.
This blade remains in its scabbard not out of pity or scorn. It's a personal secret that I don't want to disclose, but I'll reveal the truth to you. The hunt is not the path I truly follow.
¿Qué?
May death be the end of your boundless dream, guiding you back to the waking world.
¿Qué va a hacer?
I still see them in my dreams. Hold it. Your time hasn't come yet.
Bueno.
My time.
I've seen many clever disguises that can conceal appearances, but they can never cover up who a person really is. You had no desire to kill the Trailblazer. You only did what you did to drive me and the Memo Keeper away, but
Le ha pillado lleno.
why? Did Destiny's slave make you do it?
You know, Elio.
I thought this is just the kind of thing that'd get written into your script.
My script has always been brief.
Madre mía,
Other
chaval.
than that, anything beyond that is unnecessary. He knows my nature. There is but a single destiny from which no one can escape. However, you appear to be ignorant of this. So it's time for
¿Quién
me
eres
to
exactamente?
inquire,
Esta es la pregunta que nos hacemos todos.
who exactly are you?
Not your enemy, perhaps.
That's not what I asked.
I don't deserve your curiosity. Loners wandering the cosmos always have their secrets. Take me. I'm wanted by the IPC, so it's little wonder that I know something about the Stellaron hunters. That's all.
Vaya. Está brutal esto, ¿eh? Dice, tal vez te puedo ayudar. Es que...
What reason?
I tend to forget things. Which is why, rather than memories, I'm accustomed to using my emotions to capture what I normally wouldn't otherwise. I know who is inside that cold armor.
¿Eh? Le ha dejado pillado.
How about it? Ready to take off that armor and sit down for a talk?
It's not yet time. I don't need help, but I can
Espera,
give you
pero
a
¿quién está debajo de esa
suggestion
armadura?
that would make things better for you and me. If your goal is the Watchmaker's legacy, then go look into the family. Not only are they covering up the existence of death, but they're burying the past and the truth about what happens inside the dreamscape.
Already on it.
And the Astral Express is no enemy of yours.
I know that. I just never expected to hear you say it. What's next then? The Trailblazer's been taken by Black Swan. Will you go look for him?
No need for that. No harm in mentioning that Elio's only given me one instruction. Get all of the Astral Express to track down the Grand Legacy. I tried settling this in an easier and more direct way, but as you can see, here I am, confronting you. I failed. Can't ever go against the script.
The so-called impossible is merely something that is yet to happen. That's it. Before we split, can I ask you one more thing? Is there anything else in your script about me? I'd like to know what kind of footnote I get to leave in that future foreseen by destiny.
Unfortunately, not a thing came up.
I knew it.
Hang on. I don't
Don't. What?
Your first question was, do you still have dreams about everyone who died because of you?
Vaya.
I don't. Never have. I was born without the ability to dream. I live for this cold, harsh reality. For a little light. And to burn. To keep on burning. Until I turn to ash. So, I really envy.
Is that so? Then you're already living in the waking world.
Basilaeta épica de Acheron, también debo decirlo, pobre Sam. Bueno, estamos viendo cosas que han pasado y que no sabíamos hasta ahora, nos están ya por fin dando esa información. Y de vuelta al momento dorado, al presente, creo que toca continuar esta aventura. Aquí están nuestros compañeros, por fin nos reunimos después de unas semanas ahí de tertulia. Dice que Cisne Negro les ha contado lo de Luciérnaga y que nunca esperaban lo de Robin. Bueno.
I'm sorry that I couldn't be with you then.
Reality cruises on in serenity, while undercurrents bubble up from the dreamscape. Stay strong, everyone. We can still do what we can for them. Starting with finding the murderer.
Let's recap everything then. The Trailblazer just reminded me of something. March, do you remember what that family rep who negotiated with us said?
Indeed, we trust that the Nameless has nothing to do with this. And we also beg each of you to help assist the family in verifying the identity of the deceased. That's how it was put, in reference to Miss Firefly.
Looking back, he seemed a little evasive at the time. And he also failed to mention anything about the earlier murder, too.
The family's planning on covering up all news about Miss Robin's death.
But the murder that followed closely after was obviously beyond their anticipation. The family had to try and turn things to their advantage by bringing in reinforcements from outside. The Charmony Festival is nearly here, snowed under.
It may also be that Miss Firefly's murder had so many witnesses that it couldn't be covered up. So they went with the flow and let more people on the scene to control the situation.
Vaya.
After all, the nature of the two murders is fundamentally different. The family's first protective measure should be against malicious actors among the guests, such as that IPC envoy.
Aventurino está en guardia contra Acheron.
Indeed. He was particularly concerned about that Galaxy Ranger.
Are we missing the forest for the trees here? I always felt that Aventurine's reasons for accusing Miss Acheron were highly subtle. Can we believe him?
At this point, I'm afraid the only ones we can trust are ourselves.
Yo estoy con Jimeco, hay que confiar en nosotros mismos y ver ahora qué está pasando, porque esto no es fácil, ¿eh? Dice que tiene la sensación de que estamos atrapados girando en el remolino alrededor del legado, ¿vale? El relojero, como siempre, ahí marcando el tiempo.
This time we're playing the role of a real detective. But before we start, what are we going to say to the family and Aventurine?
As I see things, the family harbors no ill will towards the Astral Express. If they didn't trust the crew, they wouldn't have casually commissioned outsiders to investigate a case that's, in all likelihood, a scandal.
A ver, eso es verdad. Ay, pero es lo que digo, la familia, yo no me fío de ellos.
Turf. Teaming up with them should make things easier for us in the future. As for that Aventurine, well, I'd like to hear your thoughts.
He's complex. He deliberately slow-played his hand during negotiations while running circles around us all the while. He appealed convincingly to both reason and emotion. It wasn't forced, but the intent was obvious. Still, it's good to have contacts among all this uncertainty. Aventurine showed his skills, and as far as our interests are aligned, he can become a reliable ally.
Vale.
We also need to keep a certain distance from the family. Never let them get too close. Teaming up with the IPC helps balance that out. If either side makes a move, we have the option to pull out.
Eso es verdad.
So you suggest accepting Aventurine's proposal to team up?
Sí.
Yes. It's risky,
A ver, obviamente es
but we can
arriesgado.
only
Yo creo que
wait
aquí
until
es una
both
cosa que lo
sides
digo.
have
Tenemos
played
que ir
their
con
cards
cabeza
before making any
y
further
ver qué pasa,
judgments.
I get why, but there's a whole lot of bad guys and girls around here, and I'm worried about getting stabbed in the back. He's been bullied a few times now, and I can't stand it anymore.
No pasa nada, por ahora centrémonos en la situación general.
You're like a broken
Lo sé.
record. Forget about it. Just let me keep an eye on him.
Then,
Vale.
could you please reply to Aventurine?
Hombre, a ver, no queda otra. Pues vale, lo haré, tío. Vamos a colaborar. Puedo tirar en los gachas por ti. Top. Fantástico. Vale, dice que nos da un pequeño regalo y nos da 100.000 créditos. Gracias, jefe. Vale.
Looks like Aventurine
Me acaba de dar
is
200.000
happy with this
créditos.
outcome. Let's tell everyone about it.
¡Hey, Himeko!
Aventurine's goal is to try and recapture Penacony for IPC. To do this, he'll have to bring down the family in its entirety.
Vamos, que la va a liar
to create
seguro.
a big enough. The existence of death will be covered up by the family.
¿Y si va por H?
Aventurine has devoted considerable
No, no tiene
attention to
sentido.
her.
Aún no podemos sacar conclusiones,
I'm
desde
just
luego.
speculating. In any case, we have to be careful when handling Aventurine. He's clearly a born gambler if he's willing to go all in to win.
Pues razón no le falta.
Aventurine said something that concerns me. He accused that Galaxy Ranger of killing Robin without any evidence whatsoever, but said nothing about her connection to that memory zone meme or why he was stalking you. It was a groundless accusation, which only serves to make him seem more.
¿Aventurino tiene otros planes?
Maybe Aventurine's goal was never to gain our trust. Maybe he wanted to foster a feeling of enmity
Ojo,
towards
Wade,
Acheron
y
and
su
make the
capacidad para
situation
analizar la
more
situación,
volatile. Two birds, one
Soy muy fan.
stone. However, I asked Don Hung back on the Express to confirm that story about the Annihilation Gang and the lost messages. It wasn't something that Aventurine made up out of thin air. You've met her many times now.
De Acheron, es una persona misteriosa. Qué raro, parece que no me acuerdo.
That fits the stereotype of a Galaxy Ranger to a T. They're eccentric, unpredictable, and fond of being alone.
Vale. Vamos a hablar con 7. Relojito. Vamos al lío. No, la misión es esta de aquí, o sea, un gato entre palomas se llama. A ver, hay varios actos, entiendo, pero para que lo entendáis, voy a explicar una cosita un momentito que no cuesta nada. Tenemos los eventos, tenemos todo, pero esto entiendo que viene a ser en ramificación de destino, ¿vale? Esto de aquí, un gato entre palomas. Esto va a ser, yo creo que todo lo de aquí. Aquí estamos hemos completado el diablo de terciopelo y ahora aún nos falta, ¿no? Cositas por aquí, por lo que veo. O sea, estamos en generación perdida. Vale. Vamos a ver qué pasa.
I hope it's not too soon to bring it up, but I feel like Miss Robin isn't actually dead.
Tened en cuenta que a 7 de marzo es
but
fan de
she's
Robin.
still
Bueno,
alive
era
and
fan de
well.
Robin.
Somewhere. Because aren't we supposed to be inside a dream? Whenever I see the Grand Theater, I just can't stop all these thoughts from flooding my head.
Devolveremos todos los sueños a la normalidad. Te lo prometo.
Yeah, of course. At times like this, we're so lucky to have our crew. The family and the IPC. Everyone has their own plans going on. Everyone's still having a great time out there on the streets. Aw, what a mess. I really want a nice cool drink of soda to help me calm down. But then I'd be just like everyone else out on the streets.
Bueno.
Looks like Aventurine doesn't need anything else. Let's turn our attention to the family's assignment for now. Himiko, what do you think?
Among our current clues, the 2 murders that he witnessed are the most directly connected. I suggest starting here. One thing I'm curious about is, if a person dies in a dream, what happens to them in real life?
Vale,
How about
vamos a
we
ver
split
el
off
tiempo.
into 2 groups? There are still some things worth focusing on inside the dreamscape.
Worth focusing on?
Huh? Aw, I thought I'd finally get to see Himiko and Mr. Yang go out on a mission
Ha dicho lo
together.
que todos pensamos,
Oh
gente.
well. Take...
I will.
Le ha cortado el rollete a Well. Bueno, Well se queda en plan de... aquí pasa algo.
Honored guest, could you come out for a second?
Acheron.
I'd be embarrassed too, getting stared at like that.
Forgive me. My name is Welt Yang. I'm one of the crew members on the Astral Express. I believe you've met my colleagues.
Welt.
Is there something about my name?
First, don't you want to know my name?
I already do, Miss Acheron. You're a prominent figure in Penacony.
What are they saying about me?
Some claim that you're the real culprit behind these murders, that the Annihilation Gang's tragic fate at the banquet was a result of your blade, and that you're now attempting to unleash another bloodbath on Penacony.
La reputación le precede, no digo más.
The Annihilation Gang.
Ifrit of Everflame Mansion.
Tragic fate. That Duke turned his dying body to flames and sacrificed his life as a martyr. He was a determined and heroic pathstrider. Not even a villain should be disparaged like this. And what's more, there were plenty of suspects invited. Do they really think that a blade is more dangerous than that black hole you're wielding?
Keen intuition. Not even the family managed to point out the truth behind this cane.
Vaya, vaya.
So you must surely know, Miss Acheron, that peering into a black hole is not a wise move. As a potential threat,
Ostras,
your
chaval,
knowledge of
¿cómo
us has
mola
reached
la trama? De verdad,
uncomfortable
estoy encantado, gente.
Reveal your true identity and intentions. Otherwise,
Ojo.
brace yourself for gravitational
¿Van a pelear estos dos?
disintegration.
That shouldn't be necessary. But if it makes the Nameless feel less defensive, I'll be happy to abide. Believe it or not, Galaxy Ranger, Acheron. Those are the names I go by to this very day. My trip to Penacony is solely to fulfill an old, final request. I'm here for the
Dice que
Watchmaker's
está aquí por el
legacy,
legado del relojero. Vale.
and that's it. I think I've been honest enough.
Ya está, tío.
Still unwilling to reveal your true identity?
It's not that I don't want to. It's just that I can't. I've come so far, and I can't sum up all of that in just a few. Everyone has their own unspeakable past. Secrets that they don't want to be revealed. And I won't be asking any more questions, such as why the Astral Express is roaming around the cosmos with a Stellaron on board.
Vaya, lo sabe.
Is he okay? That memo keeper didn't do anything, right?
He's fine. Let's stick with the topic. Gaining my trust all depends on how much you're willing to reveal.
I've run around many different Penacony dreamscapes just to try and find that legacy. And during this period, I came into contact with quite a few guests. In the process, I gradually came to realize the secret of Penacony may be closely
Trazacaminos.
related to the Trailblaze. That's why I've come to ask for your help. I don't have enough proof yet. But I'd
La
like
fuente de
to
toda la
speculate
tragedia
something.
yace dentro de la familia. Si pudieras
The
confiar en mí,
source
podríamos
of all
encontrar juntos las
tragedy
pruebas que apoyen
lies
esta
within
afirmación.
a family. If you could trust me, we could find the proof to
Esto es
support
cine,
this claim
chavales.
together. Mr.
Es que de
Young,
verdad, o sea, os lo digo en
I
serio,
think you've come
hay
to
que
the same
valorar lo
conclusion,
que están consiguiendo con
haven't you?
Honkai Bros. O sea, es un juego increíble. Girls,
Let's leave
perdón,
it at
perdonadme,
that.
chicas, lo siento.
For now, I'll
El
choose to
tema es que lo que
believe
están
that
consiguiendo
you
es
bear
increíble
no
porque te metes en una
hostility.
historia de lleno
Share
y
your
lo flipo con las
findings with
misiones
me
principales.
and
Esta
me
historia en
alone.
concreto, la de
I don't want
Colonipenal,
vague
me parece
conjecture
una
to
auténtica
interfere with
locura.
other people's judgments before we find
Sí, sí,
solid
o sea, me
proof.
parece superior, o sea, lo digo en serio. Me tiene loco el juego.
By the way, would you like something to drink? Before we go, how about 2 cups of Wake the Heck Up? No,
4
4
tazas,
cups.
vale.
Because the conversation coming up will last forever.
Vale. Pues nada, parece que Well tiene cosas que hablar con Acheron. Nosotros flipando aquí en plan de qué está pasando, bros. En el mismo momento, el hotel en el mundo real. Vale, entiendo que ahora empieza la
I've been watching
investigación.
her closely for a while now, and the first invitation was in the banquet hall of the hotel.
Vale.
She just sat in one corner, keeping silent, chugging down a couple cups of Wake the Heck Up.
Really? But I don't taste any difference at all between them.
Vale, aquí está el cisne negro.
The guest rooms are charmingly minimalist, an aesthetic you share, Miss Acheron. It's a cinch. This music box. The invitation received by the Annihilation Gang. There are latent memories that linger on it yet. You see, memories of you are not yours alone. They travel in other people, other things. I know much, and I can predict even more. The Annihilation Gang, that band of desperados who all disappeared after meeting you. What exactly happened to them? Well, let me reveal all.
Gradation 12. Dreamscape 12. Father, I dedicate this to you.
Well done, Dubra. Wherever they go, shall be met by annihilation.
There it is. It's hazy, but it's Ifrit's voice. The other one is probably his progeny. This is the residual memory from when the invitation was first delivered. They were abruptly interrupted. Then, what happened next is...
They sought refuge in a land of sleep, merely wishing for undisturbed rest, away from the storms. Children of the flame, this marks your rite of passage.
She won't be necessary. I alone am enough.
When have those on the path of destruction feared death?
The Everflame Mansion has set out on a journey. Those poor people, they have no idea what lies in wait ahead of them. Memory recovery is going well, but slowly. She'll be here soon, and time is short. There's nobody else here, so there's no need to be delicate. In fact, I think I'd better go all out. What happened? The memory after that is blank. How is that possible? This music box fell into Acheron's hands, and she brought it to Penacony. That's a fact, and that's how it should have gone. But along the way... it's like it's been erased. Who's done this?
Who are you?
¿Qué?
Who are you?
It's... No. Is this not a memory?
Oh,
A memo keeper. Do you serve the Garden of Recollection? Or the Cremators? My name is Constance. A pleasure to meet you. We were supposed to meet in Penacony and spend an unforgettable time together. But that seems unrealistic. Dahlia's not welcome on the banquet star, and I don't need a coming-of-age ceremony. And you, I know what you're looking for. Want her secret? I can give it to you, and then you can enjoy the banquet for me. I wish you unforgettable memories.
Oh. A phone. Wanna listen in?
A few days ago, the IPC made an announcement. Under the watchful guidance of the Marketing Development Department, and in accordance with the Interstellar Peace Charter, the independent Sigonian sovereignty has hereby been established, and shall take a legislative seat at the Interstellar Congress. The formation of the Sigonian sovereignty is of great historical significance
Me
to
está
the
flipando,
Sigonian
lo digo
system.
de verdad, o sea...
This move puts an end to the planet's long and bloody history, turning the sensational Kataka-Abjin extinction event into a distant memory.
Sigonia 4 is located in an unclaimed zone at the intersection of the Denise, Prothean, and Dorneau star clusters. The planet's surface environment is known for being extremely harsh, constantly faced with the threat of impact from small-scale celestial objects. This is why very few intelligent species have made this planet their home, dividing themselves into several tribes to eke out nomad lifestyles as they struggle to survive the arid desert wilderness. They have developed their own folk beliefs that are independent of the Eon belief system.
Sigonia.
¿Eh?
Sigonia. Ravenous eye of the storm, spurned by all the gods.
¿Quién es esta niña?
Land of
Me he quedado loco, ¿quién es?
but not water.
¿Cómo? ¿Liberlo?
Lightning, but not rain. Blood, but not tears. You beat us with your falling stars. You promised us a land of honey, yet yoked us beneath a sword of bitterness. Oh, Gaiathra Triclops, if thou can hear me, please open up thy three eyes and gaze upon this child. When you took his father, my child was still sleeping in my belly. I don't ask for a peaceful death, just for you to tell me, does the baby swaddled sweetly asleep? Does he dream of his mother's heartbeat and the sound of falling rain? Please tell me whether this life is all just a fleeting dream. Otherwise, why would this child be born to face impending death?
Mommy! Mommy! The rain! It's raining!
Raining? Raining!
It is raining! It's true! Those outworlders weren't lying to us.
Gaiathra Triclops. Darling, listen. This is the sound of rain.
Vale.
On the day you were born, the sky also sent down a gift like this from Gaiathra. Such a lucky child. Such a blessed child. Just like your name. A gift from them to Avgen. May the goddess Gaiathra keep your blood eternally pulsing. Let your journey be forever peaceful, and your schemes forever concealed. Welcome to this sad world.
Time to wake up,
Vale, pues no.
gambler.
Era Aventurino, chavales.
Oh, heavens. I must have drunk too much.
Just as you guessed.
Bueno, aquí está el Dr.
Nobody
Ratio.
outside knows about Robin's death. There aren't even baseless conspiracy theories. They're still streaming the rehearsal for her ceremony, using a stand-in, I guess.
Of course. Who could imagine that death would actually descend upon the idyllic dream created by the family? Let alone that the victim would be the female lead of the Charmony Festival. To be honest with you, I didn't believe it. I even tested it a few times myself. Until I discovered that I couldn't actually die. Whenever there's any danger, I'm forced awake by the dream pool, and it's all as if everything were just a nightmare. That's why I'm convinced that there are a few big secrets lurking behind the scenes.
Then you must have heard about the Memory Zone meme. When I graciously deigned to establish connections with the Oak family on your behalf, they were quite in a pitiful state of disarray. Besides Robin, there was another body. I don't know the exact details, just that it was a stowaway.
2 murder cases?
Vaya, vaya.
I told you something seemed off about the Nameless. He must have come across the other one. This murderer is a psycho. But I have to admit, the case should be easy to crack. We can leverage the family's malfeasance and let the IPC use this as a reason to intervene. It's just that their trickery runs deeper than I
Es que es lo que os digo,
thought.
está bien narrado. Estás leyendo, pero estás metido en la historia de principio a fin, ¿eh?
What should we do? Let me think. It's too rare an opportunity to miss out on, so...
Incredible gambler. Have you already exhausted your
Y este le está
limited
pegando las
repertoire
vaciladetas
quite
épicas ahí,
so
pa, 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 una por una.
There are plenty of chips, but it'd be best to choose carefully. The most straightforward has to be Robin. Remember? That masked fool once told me to find a mute as a friend.
Vaya.
Robin is what she calls the mute. She has lost her voice, and while most people can't pick up on it, you and I cannot mistake that sound. Not produced by any voice box, but rather by the resonance of the harmony. If that girl hadn't gone hoarse from singing practice, there'd only be one possibility. Something was up with the family. Or Robin herself. To get to the bottom of this, I tried every way I could to meet her. But she died. Right before my very eyes.
A complete and utter loss. Incidentally,
¿Vale?
it seems to have resulted in your rather
Buah, es que me está
undignified
gustando mucho,
arrival
gente.
on the interrogation stand. There were eyewitnesses at the scene, and the family, in their graciousness, has tentatively accepted your alibi. However, for the foreseeable future, you shall, regrettably, find yourself under the vigilant watch of the hounds.
Well, things aren't looking too optimistic, Doctor. Starting to break out in a cold sweat. Do you reckon... there's still any chance of a comeback, given how things are.
A probability? Yes, it exists, but it verges on the infinitesimal. To phrase it in a manner more befitting the vernacular of Penacony, you're dreaming. But if you simply can't control yourself and want to try your hand, then there just so happens to be a suitable candidate. That man wants to see you again.
Who?
Sunday.
Vaya.
Is this a public hearing or a private trial?
If it were the former, it would hardly befit my stature to stoop to the role of a mere
Doctor Ratio, qué crack.
Fine. Well, that's great. It's all great. You see, the dead can't talk, but the living can. Ratio, I'm convinced now that there must be something wrong inside the family. Oh, just you wait and see. Without any further ado, let's set off. Lead the way.
Dice, el espectáculo está a punto de comenzar. Pues toma ya. Vaya locurón, ¿eh? O sea, fijaos todo lo que ha pasado y cómo nos estamos quedando aquí con todo. Vale, llevamos estos dos.
Pavilion is the Oak family's fortress and a place where heads of the families meet to discuss great plans for
fortress.
¿En serio?
This metaphor.
This mansion nominally belongs to
Vale, esta es la mansión de Sunday, ¿no?
And is very befitting of its owner. Without his express invitation, the likes of ordinary guests would never grace these grounds in their lifetimes. Look around while you still have this moment of freedom.
Bueno.
Hey, Doc, whose side are you
Dice,
on?
¿tú de qué lado estás?
Who's to say I won't sell you out?
We'll see. When we meet the authoritarian master of the Oak family, I'll pry an answer out of it.
Follow me and I'll bring you to his parlor. Hold your tongue and let me deal with the members of the family.
Esto está muy épico, ¿eh? Vale. A medida que avance la historia tendrás la oportunidad de recorrerla desde la perspectiva de otros personajes. El personaje al que pertenece esta perspectiva se convertirá automáticamente en el primer personaje del equipo cuando entres en la perspectiva correspondiente por primera vez. Vale, en la interfaz puedes revisar qué perspectiva de personaje corresponde a las misiones en curso o las completadas. Vale. Vale, entiendo que ahora entonces estamos con Aventurino, ¿no? O sea, esto por ejemplo, si yo vengo aquí, tengo aquí esta parte y en ramificación del destino sale lo que estábamos comentando, ¿no? Efectivamente, aquí empieza Danza Macabra. Y esto parece que va a ser las dos misiones principales. Ok, pues, ¿qué queréis que os diga? Parece que aquí se viene lo importante. Vamos a ver un fragmento, yo creo que tocho con Aventurino. Y aquí está el pollito, pero bueno, esto es lo que os digo. Lo voy a explicar en el próximo vídeo. Se viene algo bastante bestia, obviamente. Y yo creo que hay que descubrir muchísimas cosas. Y para ello, lo que os digo, vamos a seguir, obviamente, voy a seguir con esto, voy a seguir a full. Pero creo que aquí voy a terminar la primera parte de este vídeo para que tengáis todo en menos de una horita. Así que espero que os haya gustado, espero que os haya molado. Lo que os digo, se viene ahora indemnización doble, se viene lo bueno. Y bueno, vamos a controlar a Aventurino, así que esto va a ser épico, no lo siguiente. Lo que os digo, Colonipenal sigue con una trama increíble y eso es lo que mola. Y si os está gustando el vídeo, por favor, dejad el buen like, suscribiros al canal y nos vemos en el próximo vídeo de Honkai Star Rail. Hasta la próxima, se despide Jos Herrero. Nos vemos.